There it is. The Vesper 77. Everything I have heard says this pistol is absolutely amazing. The parts for it you can get from the Hell Scrub mission in Helvania, but can also be purchased from EMEA using all sorts of weirdness. But you do have to get the actual rank of the new Syndicate up to level 3, 2 for 1, so you can actually pick up the parts using standing for the Syndicate, of course. Not bad, actually. That's, the actual blueprints. I was going to say at 5,000 standing each, that's actually fairly easily done. No, it's 30,000 total because there's 15,000 just for the actual blueprint. Mastery rank 14, this thing had better be amazing, because it is kind of balanced for the crit and the status, and the crit multiplier is huge. But come on, it does look pretty amazing. I mean, if we compare it to something like, and I was really hoping I'd be able to find them easier, the Lex, that's kind of a heavy caliber pistol, and it doesn't really look that amazing. This thing, it looks huge. Does come with a V polarity and a dash polarity. It is kind of crit based, so this is a no-brainer. These are going to want to go on here to increase the crit multiplier and the crit chance just instantly. So this thing's going to take at least 2 V former because yeah, there's only 34 points left, and that's before going in and putting other things in, like, you know, Hornet Strike. That, to be fair, that's what the polarized slot should always be used for first. The base damage mod, if it has one, simply to save the points. After that, well, we'll have to see. And now the actual second part of the quest is done. We will jump back into scheduled videos, because I should have done this days ago. And leveling the Vesper 77 up, I will admit to a huge bit of a hiccup. I put the mods in, as you've seen previously, then I alt-F4'd the game and it didn't save putting the mods in it, so when I loaded it back up, I think about half an hour later, this weapon sucked. It had no mods on it, and all the way through leveling it up, all I could think of was, well, out of the two, between the Vesper and the Reckonfex, ooh, the Reckonfex is definitely the better of the two. This thing kind of sucks. And then went to form rate and went, well, that explains so much about this that I felt like a bit of an idiot. A huge idiot. Put the mods on it, formatted it once, jumped into missions, and all previous thoughts of this weapon went flying out of the window. It went from... It was acceptable. It's not like it absolutely sucked, but it just kind of didn't have any damage or crit, and I was kind of disappointed, but that's because I'm comparing it to the primary at the same time, and then all of a sudden it's hitting for like 3 million damage on the red crits, and I'm going, oh yes, this thing just got so much better, because wow, this thing gets so much better. The aiming that activates the laser sight, it highlights an enemy, and when you hit that quote-unquote weak point, the 40% crit damage, oh, it is noticeable. I thought, it's going to be negatable, it's going to be 40% of its base and all this wonderfulness. No. Oh, hell no. This thing was... it's actually to a point where I'm running around using this more than I am the primary. And all it took was primed pistol gambit, primed target cracker, and Hornet Strike. Merciless gunfight, magnetic might, pistol, acuity, as well as I did throw an elemental combo on here with frostbite and pistol pestilence, only because I couldn't be bothered formatting this thing for a 4th time. Reasoning behind this: pistol acuity is plus 350% weak point damage and 350% weak point crit chance. Multi-shot cannot be used, which is probably a good thing for something that fires 1 round at a time anyway. Can increase the multi-shot, but 350% weak point damage and 350% weak point crit chance is a lot more than firing 2 rounds at once. 2 rounds at once would be double the damage, so basically an extra 100%. This is 3.5 times the damage. After some extensive testing on this, because I kept missing the mark quite a bit, the first shot you fire, I mean the trail, you can see the trail is just coming out the end of the barrel here. Yeah, it's actually already making contact at the end of the green line. If we follow the laser down, you'll notice it's starting to have a white dot at the end because there's the projectile. Right there. It was already making contact the second you press fire. The accuracy of this weapon is amazing. But with an asterisk. Because it does recoil like crazy, meaning every other round past where you're aiming will be much higher than it was before. Still love the fact we have the projectile trail, by the way, even though the projectile has hit and it is quite a distance higher than it's supposed to be. I kept making this mistake. I forgot this thing has a ton of recoil. If you counter for it by just take that extra second, let it come back down, you will hit the same spot every time. And once you start doing that, your accuracy will go through the roof, and that 3 million, 5 million, 2 million damage will be pretty much almost every single shot. It's not guaranteed every single shot, but this will help while using this a lot. It has amazing accuracy. It is classed as a silent weapon. Here is the added perks to this thing. It has a quick fire rate. It has, let's call it a small magazine. It's only really 8. But it doesn't take forever to reload. It's still slow. It's not ridiculously slow. Adding the punch through can be really useful. But it's a silent weapon. Yes, this is a secondary weapon that can deal insane amount of damage to weak point hits and is silent. It's kind of a win-win on this entire thing, making, because the Coda weapons technically aren't in the game yet. I mean, they're probably there, but they're not able to be gotten yet because that whole part will release. I want to say February, I'm hoping for January. Probably the biggest downside to this entire weapon has got to be the fact that the component blueprints drop from the Legasite Harvest and Hellscrub missions in Hulvania. Yes, you can buy them all from Amir, but that means spending standing on it. And you kind of want to keep the standing until the Syndicate is at max rank. Then any standing you earn you can use to buy the weapon parts if you haven't dropped them already. My big, let's call it the biggest downside of this, you don't get standing from doing the normal missions, but you do pick up the items that you can then take and trade for standing, so that's kind of semi-balancing it out if you look for these items while doing the missions. But the Vesper is it says it in the description of the weapon, a true masterpiece of Hulvanian engineering. That it is. The Vesper 77 definitely got to be the better weapon, simply because silent, yeah, stealth weapons, always great. Once you start to stack the bonuses on, they can become really, really useful. So for spy missions and such, it's very useful. For every other mission, it is still insanely useful because that the crit on this is actually quite insane. And with that, we'll leave this off here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.